Hi, Rotary Club of Solihull Satellite Group. This is John Brown, a co-founder of the Satellite Group itself.
And this is Phil Priest, the current chairman of the Rotary Club of Solihull Satellite Group.
The outline. We were actually required or requested to do a presentation for a district assembly. They wanted to know how we did what we did, how we set up a satellite group and got it to where it was. What we've actually delivered was probably kind of not what they wanted,
a little bit
or expected anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
What we're going to do is going to show you who we are, where we're going, how we will get there as a group, what's a little bit different about what we do, but more importantly, why do we do what we do, and also finally, of course, because we're all in this together, what we would like from you.
Absolutely. So, who are we? We are the Rotary Club of Solihull Satellite Group. We're not a separate club in terms of Rotary, we're a part of the Rotary Club of Solihull Club. We are a small-ish but perfectly formed group of individuals who come together. There's currently, as at time of recording, 11 members of the satellite group, obviously part of the larger group. We are driving change wherever we can. We were very lucky in that when we set up the group itself, we were given the mandate to do things our way and not the way. So we were able to say, okay, well, we don't like the way that happens. We want to do it this way instead, and we were very fortunate to be given the flexibility and allowed to do that kind of thing. We're business people with business skills, and it's those business skills that we want to drive forward into the work that we do through Rotary. It would be a shame not to, after all. We're dynamic and interesting. He's dynamic, I'm interesting. But that's what we want to be. We want to be dynamic, engaging. We want to do things in a different way and constantly refresh our approach to the way that we work with charities, with other organisations, and with the rest of the group. We're delivering a new approach. We are being different. The presentation, this presentation that we delivered at the District Assembly was something the like of which they'd never seen before, and potentially never will again either. So we are driving a new approach to what has become a very established organisation. And finally, as you can probably tell, we're making a lot of noise.
So where are we going?
To infinity and beyond!
We're bringing Rotary into the future. We're bringing the fundamentals of Rotary up to date and matching them with modern business activity.
Absolutely, but we're also going beyond that. We're going beyond the club approach. We're not parochial. We know that we are a part of a larger organisation. We're part of the larger club, which is part of the larger district, which is part of the larger Rotary Club worldwide. And we want to leverage the skills and the influence and the experience that's available across that organisation into what we do, but also feed back into it, bringing our skills, our experience, and our ideas into the rest of the business.
So where are we going? We're going to go across Europe. We've actually come up with the idea of getting a £300 car and driving it across Europe and taking in all of the Rotary clubs en route in every city and every town that we pass through. We're also going to do this for Shelterbox and Waterbox and also a lot of the other communities that we will be contacting and coming in touch with along the way. Not only are we going across Europe, but we've also got our own drag racer. I'm not sure if that makes us the fastest Rotary club on the planet.
I think so.
But also, it got us thinking, how many Rotarians go to drag races? Are we missing a trick? Are we missing a whole audience there of people who potentially would want to do something to help people who are worse off than them in their local community and local area? I don't know how many drag racing cars you've seen with a Rotary badge on the side as it zooms up from 0 to 100 in 100 yards.
Absolutely. Not very many at all. Not very many at all. So it's about taking those different approaches and leveraging the business approach to make sure that we maximise the impact that we have. And that approach is the approach that we take towards what we do. We use a project approach. We maximise and leverage the skills that we've got in the room, and we plan around what is going to be the best possible outcome. It's a strategic view. There's no point just going raising a few quid, because after that's spent, you're starting from zero. The charity that we've been working with most recently, the overall charity is called Free at Last. It's a charity based in Nechells in Birmingham, and it supports young people and families for whom there is no other support. There is no government support, there's no other charities operate in that area. Free at Last is basically the charity that provides them with support. Guy John Street is an inspirational guy. He was born there, moved away, moved back, and now lives in that community, helping that community. One of the revenue generating channels that he has is the Family Fun Zone, which is a unit within Star City. The Family Fun Zone has crossbow and archery range. It has a shooting range using BB guns. It's got arts and crafts area. It's got a soft play area. It's fantastic fun. That's the idea. The unfortunate thing is, and the reason that we got involved, is John is so busy making money for the charity to help the community that he doesn't necessarily have the time to spend on the marketing side of things. That's where we wanted to help. Because we believe that if we can spend £2,000–3,000 worth of effort to help him generate £20,000 worth of revenue, that's a pretty good investment. So the first thing that we did was we looked at the website. They went through a couple of iterations on their own. The one that you see here is actually the second that they had. It's not bad, but it's also not great. So we decided that we'd make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting, and show somebody actually enjoying themselves. The second thing that we did was created a sign for the front of the unit to actually drive attention for walk past trade, to show what was going on, why it was going on, and how much fun could be had. And the third and most important thing, which underpins everything, was the marketing campaign and marketing strategies that we drew up. A simple document identifying the areas that could be targeted, how they could be targeted, and the sort of communications channels which could be used. TV and radio, print media, social media, other online channels, even down to having a Wi-Fi hotspot that people could simply say, I'm here, and check in on Facebook, just to generate that kind of traction. So that's the sort of work that we want to do as an organisation to support charities. It's about the long game.
How will we get there? You've already heard about the fact that we don't believe that we're an individual club, although we're associated to one itself. We believe that we're a club that's part of a larger organisation who will go around and get buy-in from clubs such as yourselves to help us do bigger projects, who can then help you do bigger, more exciting things. So by thinking big and planning big, we believe we can make a really big difference.
Yep, and we're also a little bit different. We meet every couple of weeks, and there's a schedule that we'll just show you in a couple of minutes. But we also meet every week, and when we're not having a formal meeting, we have an informal, casual meeting. There's no obligation to attend, but that's where we do our planning for our club, for our activities. We call them Odd Mondays for odd folk, because it's typically the odd ones that go along. But we use that to say, okay, what are our speakers coming up? What charities? What are our projects? How are we doing? Who needs to do what? And we use that informal setting to basically do our project planning.
More importantly, around a formal dinner and formal presentation, it's very difficult to build formal relationships. The relationships that we build, which is again what Rotary is underpinning on, is built on those odd Mondays, where we sit down casually and brainstorm and come up with ideas and projects and talk about what each other's been doing outside of Rotary in their normal life.
It's about having those wouldn't it be great moments,
yep,
which you don't have in a formal meeting.
No. And also, talking of the formal meetings, ours were only 1 hour long. I think we went to one recently that was 4 hours long. The best part of that meeting was when it had finished, when people could sit around or stand around and talk and do stuff where they were talking about not Rotary stuff, but things that they were doing in their normal life. So by compacting it to 1 hour long, it means we're efficient, we run to a very strict agenda, but it also means then we can go and sit down and actually make Rotary what it's about, is where we come up with some of these ideas and from then build on them in a more casual, friendly way, which again is what Rotary is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about getting to know people. Simple, really. And we're also casual in our approach. We have formal meetings and we have a formal agenda that we run through, but we don't sit in silence. We interact with each other, we ask questions, we give opinions because everybody has them, and we also like to have a pint or a glass of wine for the ladies. And it's all part of enjoying being there, and that's what makes us a bit different.
In addition to that, we also don't have a specific place setting for any of our members, including the chairman or the president. At the end of the day, every member is a valued member, regardless of their title or position, if you can call it as such. By everyone sitting together, it networks and creates relationships a lot more strongly across the group, instead of just the people that are on your left or your right when you're having dinner.
Absolutely. And the bottom line is, if it's not fun, people won't come.
Talking about being different, one thing we strongly believe in is that the variety is the spice of life. We've already mentioned around the fact that we don't want to be involved in just our group, we want to go along and spread the word to others. We've also mentioned the fact that the drag racing is potentially an area where we could end up with a lot more Rotarians from a lot more different backgrounds, a lot different and varied skill sets. All of this, put this into the melting pot, and what have you actually got? You've got a lot stronger, more diverse Rotary Club that can do more things with the more skills that they've got in them. And I do strongly believe that by opening our eyes, and also I suppose our arms, to people who we don't perceive to be of a specific level in the community, that by doing more of an inclusion, we can help more people in the long run.
Yeah, it's about being inclusive. We have a policy of anybody can come along. One of the things that we have is we put our meetings on an online system called Meetup, and anybody can join our group on Meetup, and anybody can come along to our meeting. And we've got new members through that channel. There is no rationale for entry. If you're interested and you're interesting, yeah, chances are you can come along. We do have formal meetings. Those meetings are every 2 weeks, as I mentioned, and we operate on a rotation of 4 meeting types. It sounds complicated, it's actually not. The first meeting is a business meeting, and this is where we have a speaker coming in to talk about business-related topics. Could be effective time management, or managing your absenteeism, or marketing through Twitter. Who knows? Something interesting like that, but relevant to the business people in the room. The second type of meeting that we have is a networking meeting. This is more of the formal networking. We don't have a speaker, but everybody in the room, visitors as well, has the opportunity to stand up, talk about what they do, how they do it, and who they would like to work with. It follows the more traditional business networking side of things, but that's who we are. The third type of meeting that we have is a Rotary meeting. Shock horror. We're a Rotary Club and we talk about Rotary things, but that's what we do. The Rotary meeting is specifically to discuss the projects that we're working on, the events that are being planned, but also what's going on in the wider Rotary world. We get updated as we go, but this is the formal bit where we talk about those things and how we can support what you're doing as well.
But also, if we think about the stuff that we've achieved as an organisation so far in our history, why not showcase that? Why not talk about that in a specific meeting? Why not showcase the projects that as a club we've done, as a district we've achieved, the people that we've helped, the money that we've raised, the differences that we've made? Why not showcase that to people who potentially come in because they want to see what is it we do? And if we don't let them know in a fun and exciting way, which would include them into what we're going to move forward doing, where's the fun in that?
Yeah, it's about showing the value. That's all it is. The fourth meeting type that we have is the charity. We invite charities in and they tell us about what they do, the great work that they do, and more importantly, how we can help them. And that's fine. We enjoy that. It gives us a stepping stone towards understanding how the projects that we deliver can be tailored, can be built around the requirements of a charity. It's easy to go and shake a tin and raise a couple of £100. As I've said, once that couple of £100 is spent, you're at space zero again. What we want to do is create a platform for charities to be able to launch further forward. So it's important to get an understanding of what they need as well.
Well, you might have noticed we are a bit different. Our club is all around its attitude and not about its age. Our age ranges range from 36 up to 60. That again is an overlap with our main club. It's also an overlap with other clubs that are in our area. We also believe that the Rotaract group is an 18 to 30, which is a bit of a strict rule for us, because I know that there's some 18-year-olds that have probably got the mindset and the maturity and the attitude who would do better, and we would obviously benefit as well, from having them in our group.
Absolutely.
It's all about the problems and not the solutions.
Yeah, and we want to bring solutions, and we want to get those fresh ideas and those fresh viewpoints and fresh perspectives into the group, because our attitude is there is no can't. There is a way. There are things that we can do. Put it on your notice board.
A famous saying, a quote by someone who inspires me a lot, is a guy called Jim Rohn. For things to change, you have to change. The group, the organisation, internationally has evolved, but it's about the evolution, not the revolution. We're not here to change everything that we do. We just want to make things a little bit more accessible to a lot of people that may have perceived that they're not able to join our group because they don't fit the criteria that Rotary should be. I think a great example would be Alan Murray, without whom his vision from the main club in wanting to get a new club started, we would cease to exist. With Alan Murray, as we've already mentioned, he came to us with an idea, with a concept, but without any rules. We had guidelines, we had things that we needed to follow, but also we changed. We didn't just change one item. We started on a Monday morning at 6 a.m. I don't know anyone who likes meeting at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, but we ran that for a number of weeks to identify that didn't work. We had over 100 people, guests, come through to look at what we did. We then changed that to a Monday night. We then changed locations. All of this within an initial 6 months. Without Alan's flexibility, without his drive and enthusiasm, without his willingness to learn from people who had never heard of Rotary or been involved with it, we would cease to exist, and we wouldn't be where we are today. And we also wouldn't be where we're going to be either.
What we'd like from you, there are obviously a few things. We want to be part of the larger organisation. We want to give back into that organisation, and we want to help develop that organisation. But there's a few things that we'd like from you as well. The first thing, obviously, we'd like your support. We are one Rotary Club. There is only one Rotary Club. We're all just very small parts of it. So we want your support in that. We also want your enthusiasm for what we do. We are obviously enthused by what we do, otherwise we wouldn't do it. But we'd like to have your enthusiasm as well. Change is good. As my learned colleague once said, the only constant in life is change. Absolutely. We're about making things happen for the right reasons and not doing things just because that's the way they've always been done. The third thing we like is your events. I've never met an event organizer yet who says that they'd like fewer people at their events. If you are one of those, then please let me know and I'll add you to my very, very short list. We want to attend and support your events, as of course we'd like you to attend and support ours. We are one Rotary Club. And finally, and not quite as dubiously as it sounds, we want your kids. They will probably know about Rotary because of you. They may have an interest in Rotary because of you, but they may not choose to go to Rotary because of you, because it's the place that mum or dad goes. We are not the place that mum or dad goes. We have a couple that come along, but on the whole, it's the place where their kids come. We're not expecting everybody to join. We may not even want everybody to join. But what we would like is for them to come along and say hello and understand that Rotary is not about 2 or 3 hour meetings on a Thursday lunchtime. It's about having fun, meeting great people, and doing some good stuff at the same time.
At the end of each meeting, we have a statement that we read out. And this wasn't designed for the assembly that we spoke at recently. It wasn't even designed for this video. We believe that at Rotary, we focus on 3 core values. It's the relationships, charity, but also business. With these 3 things, we believe we can make a difference to the people and the communities around us. The important word there is focus. Without focus on those 3 items of relationship, charity, and business, nothing gets done.
We actually cease to be if we lose focus on those. There is no reason for us to be. So we hope that that's been a little bit interesting, a little bit different, that's the idea, but also has provided you with some insight into why we do what we do. It was a pleasure to present this at the District Assembly. I think we both had a pretty cool time doing that, and certainly had some very positive feedback. And it's been a pleasure to bring this to you now so that you can digest it at your leisure and hopefully show it to other people as well. So there's really only one thing left to say, and that's thank you very much for your attention.
If you'd like to get in contact with us directly, please do. Our details are on the end. We're more than happy to talk to you, either over the phone or in person. First-class flights are always available, obviously at your expense. But our details are there. Please feel free to contact us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, give you the documents about what we've done and how we've managed to get to what we do to where it is today. Thank you.